Witches have for a long time been discriminated against in Europe and have since antiquity been viewed as distrustful. This is all, I think you may find, with good reason, seeing as they keep their secret witchy magic to themselves, thus making it so that the general populace will never know what the witches are up to, or what they're even capable of doing. They could poison your food, destroy your village, or make you the victim of psychological torture. Or they could just help feed the animals. Point is, you don't know, since they never disclose any of their secrets. The uncertainty caused by this reached its peak in the 15 to 1700s, when witch burnings really took off in Europe. And even though witches still somewhat exist here, the remaining ones have been quite humbled by this, and rarely pull any obvious tricks anymore. Though who knows if they still pull crazy shit, just having made it less obvious. But you get the point. Us in the Western world have a strained relationship with witches, and there's a reason that most outright hate them. It is therefore absolutely outrageous to see how Japan treats their witches in anime and pop culture media. And I'm not talking about Japanese witches. No, that would be a different story. Different cultures treat their witches differently, and that's something I can accept. No, what I'm talking about is witches that are clearly inspired by the looks of Western witches, that are clearly used to get the people who see them to have a positive attitude towards witches. And I'm sick of seeing it. With this in mind, in this video I'll be going through some of the disgusting examples of this propaganda in Japanese media. Himiko, Danganronpa V3. Himiko from Danganronpa V3 is the ultimate magician, which to any of you who hasn't played this game means that she is the best magician in Japan. The fact that she's a witch has clearly helped her in success, making her able to outperform all of her competition. Her outfit makes this clear as day, and she even says multiple times to the different characters of V3 that she is in fact a witch, though none of them believe her. This is probably because of Japan's relationship with Western witches, which she is clearly inspired by, making her seem to them more like the purely commercial pop culture entity they are over in the land of the rising sun. This, and the fact that Japan has been severely cucked by science, is probably what makes the characters not believe her. But despite this, her witchery is quite clear throughout the entire game, no matter how much the other characters want to ignore it. First off, she has a pot brewing in her special room thingy, and I don't know about you, but I don't think that's a very common requisite in the performance art of magic. She is also able to make a murder victim appear in her tank of piranha fish, leaving nothing behind it but bones after the piranhas are done with it. Murdering someone in a mysterious way certainly checks a box for witchy activities, especially if it's with the help of some vicious animal, like cats, ravens, or piranhas in this case. Now, what I find the most disgusting about this whole portrayal is the fact that she is played off as a joke. And I'm not just talking about what the other characters think of her. The game itself plays her off as the childish type, who believes her magic tricks are real witchcraft. If you ask me, this sets up a way too silly tone against such a serious and dangerous subject matter to ever work as a character trait. It just doesn't work. It also makes being a witch out to be way too silly, and might lead the audience to get the wrong idea about witches and their crafts. Megumin, Konosuba. Now, to be fair, every main character in Konosuba is portrayed as a fucking retard. But that's the thing. It's all played off as silly antics. And I'm not saying I have anything against silly antics in anime. In fact, I quite enjoy wacky stuff when it's done right. Anime like Nishijo, or even some parts of Konosuba, are great examples of this. But the parts in Konosuba with Megumin are some of the worst examples of this I can think of. Not only are they done in some of the poorest taste imaginable, but they are also executed very poorly. To start off with, all she has is 1 out of 2 jokes. Either A, she likes explosions, or B, she's being a small, silly child or something like that. As I said, not the best execution, but what really hits the nail in the coffin for her is the utter lack of taste these jokes are done with. They rely on her being a witchy mage, just as the last one, but for real this time, I swear. Again, making a joke about such a serious and dangerous subject matter really shouldn't be accepted at all, much less be put in the holy grail of anime comedy that Konosuba is placed in. But that's not all. She also likes to blow up stuff with her explosion magic. This one castle in particular. Over and over and over again. You know what we call this? Terrorism. Now surely, this can't be terrorism, you might think. Megumin has no clear goal while doing what she's doing, except for practicing explosion magic. But when you learn that the shit she's been spouting about being from a race of crimson demons rather than men is true in the film, then you might gain a more nuanced view of her actions. A far more racist one. One that can be explained by the isolation from her kind in a foreign land. I cannot even begin to explain how problematic this is. So I suppose you'll just have to think for yourself here, bucko. Makoto Flying Witch. Makoto from the anime Flying Witch is the most obvious example yet of a show trying to make the audience's outlook on witches a positive one. The series follows a young witch that has just started living on her own, but chooses to go into high school and move to someone in the family up north for a while instead. It's basically any slice of life anime, but has witches and magic that spice it up a bit. Not too much though. God forbid we scare our fragile audience away with too much witchery, so they won't be able to be eased into liking witches. Now what really pisses me off here compared to the rest is a simple running joke. The fact that she can't understand what the man of the house is saying when he tells her what to do because of his dialect. She even has the balls to tell him to say it in Japanese. Worst thing about it is that in the dub, it isn't even that thick of a dialect. Normally when people aren't able to understand English dialects, you'd expect it to be some rural farmer in the middle of Ireland or the Scottish Highlands. But no, this is just regular American hillbilly talk. Now you might say, but Blop, that's only in the dub. You can't know how thick his dialect is in Japanese. But that's the thing. A dub normally localizes the more foreign aspects of an original property, like dialects. And if they saw fit to localize it to a totally understandable American hillbilly, then that only shows the sheer attitude that these witches have. An attitude I find absolutely disgusting. Oh, we can't understand you because of your dialect. Like, shut up! I speak the same language as you, whore. It's your lack of knowledge here that is to blame, not my dialect, you piece of poop.
Høre og forstå hva som sies. Hør.
Men hva du sa altså muligheten for å komme seg unna da?
De har ikke fått løst tampene. Vi må
Just
bare
like
fortsette
in
med
the
det.
lamp, so you was in the sheep, just count out the nice bit of money, right?
Han har sett på tampene, så jobber han ikke ut hos her.
You don't about him, man.
Well, the way people talk around here, I guess, would be more like the old hillbilly style or something like that. Mountain talk.
Have you somebody else to pick him up?
Singing, you know, we're kind of like we're singing. We just said we're singing.
I hope this video, and the examples shown within it, has shown you why Japan has such a big problem when it comes to witches in their pop culture, and how it might affect people the wrong way. After all, we do not want the network that the witches still somewhat have in the West to grow. Do you want to wake up to a Sami shaman banging his drum every morning? I certainly don't.